Imagine turning down $1 million. That's what Team USA might be doing by not picking Caitlin Clark for the Olympics. Stephen A. Smith is fired up, saying they're missing out on major money and buzz. But is it all about the cash, or is there more to this Olympic-sized drama? Now, let's discuss Caitlin Clark. She is not another inexperienced person making waves. In women's basketball, the athlete we are discussing is redefining what it means to be a star. To what extent does she matter? Imagine this: 20,000 people came to see her perform. That is not typical of a novice. That is the domain of superstars. This is where things get crazy though. Clark was rejected by Team USA. Yes, you did indeed hear that. She was not included in the Olympic roster. Stephen A. Smith is enraged by it and isn't holding back. In support of his claim that this decision was stupid, he has the relevant receipts. Perhaps you're wondering what exactly makes Clark unique. Her abilities on the court are exceptional, but that's not all. It's her contribution to the game outside of the court. We are discussing a player who is altering the business model of women. You will be shocked by the bombshell that Stephen A. dropped. According to him, Clark's influence on a single game might be valued at over $1 million. Folks, that's no small change. We are discussing a rookie who makes more money than other teams take in. However, Team USA chose not to use all of that celebrity influence. Why? That's what Stephen A. is posing as the $1 million query. He's making the point that there are other factors at play in women's basketball besides player talent. It has to do with who looks at screens and puts butts in seats. Clark too. She's doing both quite well. Consider it. When was the last time a female basketball player generated as much attention? Clark is altering the game, not just participating in it. Fans who have never seen women's basketball before are being drawn in by her. She's bringing the sports fan base to a whole new level. At this point, Stephen A.'s argument becomes extremely captivating. He is arguing that USA basketball is losing out on more than just a fantastic talent by keeping Clark off the squad. They're passing on an opportunity to expand the game. They're missing out on an opportunity to introduce women's basketball to a global audience on the biggest platform. Best part is that Clark's influence stretches beyond the Olympics. Stephen A. believes she will be selected first in the WNBA draft. When does she join a professional league? He believes she will raise awareness of the WNBA as a whole. This player has the ability to drastically alter the landscape of women's professional basketball. But given all that promise, why would Team USA turn it down? The question that has everyone scratching their heads is that one. Stephen A. refuses to accept any of the explanations. He's making it quite apparent that this choice has more implications than just basketball. It has to do with the sport's future. That future too? It appears more promising than before because of players like Clark. She is demonstrating the ability of women's basketball to generate revenue, captivate audiences, and bring large crowds. She's demonstrating that the sport can be just as significant, profitable, and thrilling as men's basketball. It's so much more than basketball despite your perception to the contrary. We are discussing enormous sums of money, intense fan involvement, and the whole future of women's sports. Stephen A. Smith is raising the alarm about a possible tectonic shift in the sports industry rather than only offering commentary on a particular event. Let's dissect it. Not only is Caitlin Clark a gifted player, she is a phenomenon that is altering the financial landscape of basketball for women. Recall the impact of $1 million each game that we previously discussed. That's revolutionary, not to mention amazing. The rookie in question is earning more money than some entire teams. This is where things become really fascinating though. Stephen A. is complimenting Clark's abilities off the court as well. He's drawing attention to a much larger issue. Star power is important in women's basketball. It goes beyond just skill. Who can make the greatest plays or sink the most baskets? It all comes down to who can captivate audiences, spark conversation, and inspire passion for the game. Clark too. She's going above and above. She's altering the game, not simply playing it. Fans who have never seen women's basketball before are being drawn in by her. People are taking note of her and sitting up. Stated differently, she is precisely what the sport needs to develop and prosper. That's the reason Stephen A. is so incensed over this Olympic letdown. He is arguing that Team USA and the WNBA should see the potential. They're losing out on more than just a fantastic talent. They're passing up an opportunity to expand the sport and attract new followers to women's basketball on the grandest platform in the globe. Consider it. When was the last time a female basketball player generated as much attention? Clark excels in more than just basketball. She plays basketball well. She is demonstrating the ability of women's basketball to generate revenue, captivate audiences, and bring large crowds. She's demonstrating that the sport can be just as significant, profitable, and thrilling as men's basketball. The problem is that all of that potential is meaningless if those in positions of authority fail to see it. Stephen A. isn't holding back because of this. He believes that Team USA and the WNBA are missing out on a fantastic chance, and he worries about it. I know you're thinking, why is this so important? It's because women's sports are going through a transformative period. More attention, money, and coverage are being shown than ever before. But we need stars to maintain that momentum. We require players who have the ability to pique the interest of the general audience and entice them to tune in and watch. That's the type of player Clark is. She's not content to just post remarkable numbers. Her eyes are on screens, her bottom's in seats. She is igniting a passion in people for women's basketball that they have never had before, and that is valuable beyond measure. It's very evident from Stephen A. that this is about more than just determining who is the best player on the field. Who can elevate the sport as a whole is the key. It's about realizing that occasionally star power may be just as significant as talent. It's about realizing that in the modern world, sports are not just about athletic ability, but also about participation and entertainment. To be honest, Clark possesses both. She has the abilities to compete at the greatest level and the charisma to garner throngs of admirers. She's the kind of player that only comes around once in a generation, a complete package. And Stephen A. contends that missing out on such quality and star power is an opportunity lost to elevate women's basketball to unprecedented levels, not merely a mistake. Do you recall the day when women's basketball at the Olympics was the talk of the town? Stephen A. Smith claims that those heydays are quickly coming to an end. The excitement, the buzz, and the must-watch TV moments are fading away. There's a storyline twist, though, that has the potential to ruin everything. Bring on Caitlin Clark. Yes, the identical sensation among rookies that we have been discussing. The one who draws 20,000 spectators only to see her perform. The one who's transforming the sport off the court as well as on it. Imagine her performing on the Olympic stage now. I know what you're thinking, but she's just a newbie. Would she ever get a chance to play? This is when Stephen A. reveals something that will change the way you perceive the entire situation. The number of minutes Clark plays is not important. The star power she possesses is what matters. Consider it. When was the last time you've seen a female basketball player receiving this much attention? Clark excels in more than just basketball. She plays basketball well. She's getting people who have never before given women's basketball a second look to discuss, tweet, and tune in. Imagine this now. Every year the Olympics take place. The USA squad enters the court, and there's Caitlin Clark positioned among the elite. Her mere existence would alter the course of events, even if she is only warming the bench. Why? For Clark possesses an ability that cannot be learned or practiced. She has star power, and that's worth its weight in gold in the modern world. She is more than a gamer. She is extraordinary, an exceptional talent that has the potential to rekindle interest in Olympic women's basketball. Here, Stephen A. isn't holding back. It's really evident what he's saying. Playing time is not the issue. Star power is at play here, and Clark has a plenty of it. He makes the case that this might be the much needed boost for Olympic basketball. Let's dissect it. Women's basketball at the Olympics was once quite significant. People cared, they cheered, and they paid attention. However, recently, the initial thrill has been waning. The number of watchers has decreased. It's no longer the must-attend event that it was. But Clark, she is a revolutionary. She has the abilities to compete at the greatest level, and the charisma to garner throngs of admirers. She is the total player, the kind that only appears once in a generation. Consider the effect. When Clark takes the court during the Olympics, viewers who had never seen women's basketball before start to pay attention. They are inquisitive. They wish to investigate the cause of the commotion. And now you have a whole new fan base interested in the sport. It goes beyond the immediate effects as well. Consider the long term. A whole new generation of young girls could take up basketball as a result of Clark. She has the power to alter the perception of women's sports. She has the ability to raise women's basketball's profile worldwide. The worst part is that all of that potential is being overlooked. It's not simply a lost chance for Clark that results from Team USA's decision to leave her off the roster. The entire sport has lost out on this. Stephen A. contends that this choice demonstrates a lack of vision. It goes beyond simply selecting the top players according to their experience level or current talent. It's about realizing the potential to develop the sport, spread public interest, and elevate women's basketball back to the status of a must-watch event. Is one player really that important? Maybe on your mind. In Clark's case, the answer is unquestionably yes. She is more than a gamer, she moves. She is influencing the public's perception of women's basketball, and the impact of that kind is incalculable. What does this signify then for women's basketball at the Olympics going forward? It signals a turning point for us. We can continue in our current direction, concentrating just on conventional success measures. Alternatively, we might accept that the sports industry is evolving, and that becoming a household name and being marketable are essential to a sport's expansion.